What's this? In person, I'm much more like a people person. I like talking face to face, but we do what we can do. So it's nice to meet you. I'm Siona Margaret. I'm the rekezet for the girls, Machon, but I also run a lot of like the whole English speaking program. But I'm here to take care of you and try to make it good for you. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about our program and just the basics of it, and then we'll go more into detail. I know also some of you want to know a little bit about visas and things because of Corona and everything. So we'll start. I'll just talk about the basics and then we'll move on from there. Okay, so Machon is offering a computer science program degree, which is equal to the Israeli one. We teach exactly the same thing. It's the same syllabus. It's the same exams. Everything is equal. It's considered a really good degree. Machon Lev and Tal are not on the top for so many things, but they're really on the top for their computer science and for their nursing. The boys program has been going for already a while, about 5-6 years. The women's program, we're going into our second year. We're just finishing our first year. It's been amazing. We've had 14 girls. They're all amazing. They're all great. And Baruch Hashem, even with Corona, it's been working. I actually wanted to have one of them speak to you, but everyone kind of went home or it didn't work out for them. So I'm hoping maybe if we do another open house, I can have a student speak to all of you. So like I said, we're starting our second year in computer science. The degree is given on campus. Unfortunately, because of Corona, we did have to move on to Zoom, but they're hoping that we will go back on campus for the first semester. I can't say for sure. I don't know. We might not. Either way, don't worry. The classes will be given. Everything will be taken care of. I'm really hoping we'll be able to go on campus after Sukkot. But obviously we're keeping an open mind to everything. So, bear with me. I know it's really hard when nobody knows what's happening, but we don't really know what's happening either. Because it's all up to the government. The degree is a 3-year degree. The schedule usually is from about 8:30 in the morning till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 days a week, Sunday to Thursday. Friday, you don't have school. Sunday, we usually try to start a little bit late because we know that people, go away for Shabbos. We also try to finish a little bit earlier on Thursdays, but every year is different. Every semester is different depending on how many courses and how it's working. We also have at least 2 to 3 midrashah classes every semester. This is a must. Even if you went to seminary, even if you studied, Jewish classes for the past 5 years, part of Machon Tal is that you need to take Jewish classes. Obviously, if you've been to seminary and things, you'll send it to me. And then Abba Engelberg, Professor Engelberg has just joined us. He is the academic advisor, so I'm actually going to take a break for a minute and let Professor Engelberg speak because he's also going to the men's open house, so he has to share his time. So before I continue speaking, I'm going to let him speak. So if you have any academic questions, he can answer them. And he can also just explain more academically just how our program works. So I will put myself on mute. And Abba, if you can please, say a few words.
Okay, good evening to everyone. Welcome to the open house and hopefully to be joining us in the fall. Our Department of Computers, I'm sure that most of you have some idea of what computers is about, but a lot of people have a misconception. They think that if you're working in computers, you're sitting in front of a computer all of the time and you're never talking to other people and there's no social interaction. And that is really a mistake, because one of the very important fields in computers is called systems analysis, which means that you go to a certain office or factory or industry, and you try to analyze what the problems are. And in order to analyze those problems, you have to speak to everybody and understand how things work there. And then you translate that into programs. You don't even necessarily write the programs yourself, but you just understand about programming and have other people write them. So computer science can be a very social type of job, in addition, of course, to the technical part. So I just thought it's important for people to know that. Now, our program is a 3-year program. Fall semester and winter semester, you're off in the summer. And it's, of course, a full-time job when you're studying. It's 3 years. But after that, you have your degree, and Baruch Hashem, the market in computers is excellent. So we have not experienced any problem as far as people getting a job after they finish their studies. And that's basically the big picture. Are there any questions that anyone has in particular? Well, okay, so.
Thank you. Thanks, Alva.
Very good, my pleasure. I'll stay around a couple of minutes just in case a question arises.
Okay. Okay, so getting back to just talking about the program a little bit, like Professor Engelberg said, and this I always tell anyone who calls me, is that it's not one of the easiest degrees, and you definitely need to put in a lot of time and effort into it. But at the end of the 3 years, you have a degree that is just so amazing, and the job market, especially in Israel, is so open to all different types of jobs with this degree. You have so many choices, and they're good jobs and they're flexible jobs. And I just think if you have the stamina to do it, then I think it's a really, really wonderful degree to do. So like Professor Engelberg said, it's 3 years. Obviously, you know, some students decide to do it into 4 years if they want to make it a little easier on themselves. I wouldn't really recommend getting a job with it because it really is a lot of work. Even though your schedule usually ends by 1, there's usually, you know, work on the computer, homework, and other things. So it's definitely more full-time than some degrees. I'm trying to think what else in terms of that. If there's any questions just about the degree itself, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of just move on a little bit onto campus. So in terms of campus life, we have dorms. The first year students have a building basically for them about 7-minute walk away. Second and third years have apartments. I don't know how many of you know Machon so well. Machon is located literally in the center. It's like on a main street called Beit HaTfus. So it's not like a campus like the boys. The boys have like a big campus that it's all enclosed. And the girls, we're hoping in the next 5 years will join that campus on the other side, obviously, as we keep it very separate. But for now, the girls are in Beit HaTfus. They have one main building, which is called number 7, and it has all the business offices and any student offices that you need. And then there's a whole big floor for the midrasha, which is all the Jewish classes that are given. And then there's another 3 buildings, all on the main street where you would take your classes. They have computer labs. Just to point out, you don't need your own computer to be on the program. Obviously, it's helpful to you, but we have labs in every building, and a lot of them. Any student can go into any computer lab, sit down, put in their password, and work on any computer that's there. the labs are open till 10 o'clock at night, so you can go. Even with Corona, actually, we do allow students on campus, you know, when they register prior to coming, and then they can sit and work on the computers. We also did offer computers to some students who didn't have their own when the campuses were closed. There's no cafeteria for the women. There is like a big eating area with some like microwaves and heating things and coffee and some little snacks. But because we're on a main street, there are so many places to go and eat. And if you have your student card, you get student discounts. The dorms have their own kitchen, so you can cook there. If you're not living on campus, you still won't starve, I promise you. I see that the head of our program, Mr. Hershkowitz, Stuart Hershkowitz, just joined us, so I'm actually going to put myself on pause again and let him just speak a couple words to you, because he's also sharing his time between the men and the women. So I will just put myself on mute for a minute and let Stuart speak. Hi, Stuart.
Hi, Siona. How you doing? Good. I want to thank everybody for joining tonight. And yeah, I've been switching back between the men's open house and the women's. I want to thank Siona for a fantastic job that she did this year. I always felt that the best way to judge a program is to speak to the students. And when I speak to the students and I hear all the great things that they have to say and how Siona has been a huge help to them, I really, I know that we're on the right track. We opened up this year, after several years where we had the men's program, we opened up this year for the women as well. And it was a huge success. I think that all the women in the program are doing well. We have high hopes for this coming year. We have a nice sized class registry, and we hope that it will continue to grow in the future. There is no other English language computer degree in Jerusalem. And I think that it's a wonderful opportunity for anybody who's considering a career in high tech in Israel. There is such a shortage of good people today in high tech in Israel that our placement rates are through the roof. And certainly if you know English, and English is your native tongue, you have a huge leg up on many Israelis whose English is passable or even okay. It's never going to be on the level of a native English speaker. So, as I said, getting a job after this degree should not be a problem at all with the tremendous shortage of good people in Israel. The program itself is intense. We don't want anyone to think that it's not, but you're going to get a great, great education. And at the end of the day, you'll be able to get a decent job in the startup nation here in Israel. I think that it's also an opportunity if someone does want to leave and go back to wherever, the reputation of JCT around the world is such that I don't think you'd have trouble getting a job anywhere. Just on the men's side now, they had a gentleman who's going into the Army now, and he just had some tests on his computer knowledge. And he said that his 3 years in JCT really, really prepared him well for the interview. It was a very difficult and technical interview, but he knew every answer due to his 3 years here at JCT in the English-speaking program. So, Siona, thank you very much for everything, and happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Stuart. Appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to just go back to what we were talking about, unless anyone has a specific question just for Stuart. Otherwise, I'll go back to talking about dorms for a minute. So I'm just going to wait. If anyone has a question, you can write in the chat. Okay, I'm going to move on. Going back to dorms and dorm life. Again, so the dorms, if you sign up first year, you're in a building of just the first year students. Most apartments are between 7 to 9 girls in the apartment with a kitchen, 2 girls in a bedroom. The dorms, God willing, you know, with Corona, with everything, they're open, they never shut. Our students stayed in them. Obviously, you know, things have to be more careful. There are more guidelines, but no matter what, if you sign up for the dorms, you will have a place to live. You don't have to worry about that. If you live on campus also, it's really easy to get to the campus. Buses are easy to come by. They all come straight there. So in terms of that, I think that's it. Anyone who does want to sign up for the dorms, you do have to sign up rather earlier because they do get filled up. So I know that we have some girls who already did. But if you are thinking of doing it, then I would say sooner rather than later. In terms of, I'm just trying to think what else I could say in terms of the dorms. I just want to make sure anyone has questions about the dorms. Just put in the chat. I'll give you a minute if you think of anything. The dorms usually cost between 8,000 to 9,000 shekels a year. And that is not covered by, meaning if you make Aliyah and the government covers your tuition, the dorms aren't covered by tuition. Machon Lev does offer other scholarships that you could always apply for if you want, but that's definitely a question I get often. That if you make Aliyah, tuition is covered for all your 3 years through the government. But just keep in mind, not the dorms, but living in Jerusalem, meaning the dorms are still really, really cheap compared to any other. How does the program, in terms of what? In terms of how it's looked at from like other programs, other people, the computer science of Machon Lev is considered one of the top in Israel. Our students are taken into like the army, into special units. Definitely, I would say it's right there at the top. Definitely, I don't know so much Hebrew U. I know with Bar Ilan, definitely. I would say we're definitely considered one of the higher ones in computer science. We're also considered harder, like it's definitely a harder degree, like Stuart said. It does, it's not for the faint heart, meaning you definitely have to put in your work for it. So that's for you, Rivka. Are there any other questions in terms of just how everything works and the dorms? If you have anything, otherwise I'll move on. But just going back to that for a minute, our program, like the computer science program, really is, meaning it's considered really high up in terms of our lectures, in terms of how it's taught, and how we keep on changing our program to move on with the times. We started a new course this semester where we did like artificial intelligence, because that was something that we felt was starting to get bigger and needed to be taught. We also, once a year, we have something called a hackathon. We have one for the men and one for the women at different times. This year we did it, we still did it, even though we had Corona, we did it over Zoom and it was wonderful. We have a lot of different companies from Israel come in and meet with all the computer science students, the Israelis, the English-speaking ones, and we also have, other international students. Every company that comes, we have Google, we have Intel, they all come and they give, we had Mazda come, and a lot of it was Corona-related this year, but they kind of give an issue that they had that they want fixed, or a new kind of thing that they feel would help them. This was, of course, more like how you would test Corona faster, or different things like that. And the groups have, 48 hours to come up with the way to do it. And there's prizes at the end. You have first place, second place, third place. And it's definitely really, really cool. You should see what they all come up with. It's amazing. And that way also you get to meet all the different companies, and the companies get to meet the students. These companies also come, sometimes to speak and meet with our students. We had Google come this year, where they come and they talk to you, and students who work there come and speak also. We also have somebody who helps all the students look for jobs, interviews, figuring out what they want to do, what they're interested in. Computer science doesn't give you one specific things. You can choose from a lot of different high-tech ideas of what you would like to do. We also actually have coding going on at Machon, there's something called She Codes, which is like a free place to go and learn how to do coding. And actually Machon opens it on campus. So if you were someone who was more interested in the coding element, you would also be able to go take those classes for free. Anyone who's interested in that, I would let them know. Gabriella, make arrangements for arrival. Yes, so as I said, in terms of visas, Baruch Hashem, the government has said that they will give visas to students coming in to learn in yeshivas and seminaries and universities. The exact procedure was sent out. We're still getting out the last little things with the Machon, but you can start making arrangements. The government does tell you not to make the arrangements until you know that it's 30 days before you're going to come. So if you know you want to come only after Sukkot, then you can't start the process yet. If you know you want to come in the middle of August towards the end of August, then you could already start the process, but they say you can't start it till 30 days before. But Baruch Hashem, it should hopefully go smoothly. And anyone who already knows that they're coming or knows when they're coming should let me know and we'll work it out together. Is there any collaboration between the students in the Hebrew and English program? So in the hackathon, we have it, meaning we definitely had them working all together. In terms of just working together, not so much. We do have girls who have met each other. They go to the labs. They end up like getting to know each other. We also had some girls from the Israeli program who were tutoring who knew some English and were tutoring our English speaking program girls so that they got to know each other, which was really nice. And they were helping. We had like the second year students helping the first year students. So they did kind of get to know them. And there's definitely a lot of English speaking students in the Israeli program. So I think some girls did end up becoming friendly with a lot of the girls. Also, those who live in the dorms live with the Israelis as well, so they got to be with them. Any girl that shows more of an interest, we do try to get them more involved. I had one girl who wanted that. We also try to push, we offer midrashah classes in English, but I definitely try to push any girl who wants to brush up on her Hebrew or be around more of the Israeli students to do maybe one midrashah class to do one midrashah class in Hebrew, and that way you brush up on your Hebrew and you get to meet some of the Israeli girls. So there definitely is, like, they don't feel like, and where the classroom is around the Israeli girls, and, you know, everyone sees each other, walks around each other, everyone sits with each other. So it's very nice, but definitely our group is a group and they work together more with each other, which is also in a way really nice because it means that when you come in and it's a new place, you kind of come in with a group of girls that are there with you and they're your core group, and you know, you kind of get to know each other and help each other. And I've seen it this year a lot. You know, we have a WhatsApp group and everyone kind of tries to help each other. Everybody has what they're really good at, so they like try to help the other ones, and the girls who know more Hebrew kind of help the ones who don't understand certain things. So it's kind of nice because you come in and you almost have like a built-in community for you that is there going through the same things that you're going through, understanding the issues that you have. And of course, I'm there to help with anything. And then around that core, there's also all these Israeli girls around, which you could slowly also get to know and get to be with, which is also really nice. So that's definitely, I think, a plus for the English speaking program, that it's kind of easier to start off and not feel like you're just in this whole new environment alone. 1 second, I just said there's more questions here, so let me just get to them. But again, like as I was saying, obviously, if you did want to, if girls wanted to get to know more of these Israeli girls, you can. It's definitely doable. So the quarantine and all that, Gabriella, I'll speak to you about it. Like, I don't want to talk about everything in terms of, you know, the quarantining and all of coming into Israel and how we're dealing with that. That I'll do one-on-one with each person. You know, it all depends on if you're staying in the dorms, if you're not, and things like that. So that I'll get to with you. And then Miriam, let me see. So in terms of helping with tuition, if you're making Aliyah, then the government really covers your tuition. If you're not, Machon Lev, once the semester starts, Machon Lev does have about 3 or 4 different scholarships that you can apply for. We also have a special scholarship for tourists, those who didn't make Aliyah. But to cover tuition completely, that I don't really know. I mean, the government might help if you're an Israeli citizen. There are definitely some things you could apply for. If you're coming from out of the country, then definitely not. I don't know as much. I mean, I'm sure there are some organizations, but I haven't dealt with it. The only scholarships that I've dealt with are the ones that we help with, that we give through the Machon, which I'm happy to speak to you about privately. Okay, I kind of lost my track of thought now, so I'm just going to go back to what we were talking about. In terms of, let me just look again over here. What we were saying. Yeah, so in terms of what I was saying, that like you come and you have your core group, I definitely think that's a little bit of a plus in terms of this whole program. Like a lot of girls always ask me, oh, well, if I know Hebrew and I know English, should I just do the Israeli program? And I say to them, well, it costs the same and you're a much smaller group in the English speaking program. And you come in with a group of girls that are all there and they all really help each other, which is really nice to see. So I definitely think that's a major plus. The English speaking program definitely gets, more care because it's an international program and you have more people, checking in on you and making sure that things are taken care of. And I know especially for students who are coming from overseas and they're leaving their whole family, it's really hard. It's hard on the student, it's hard on the parents. So I really think that makes a difference, that you know that you're coming to a place where things are very set and it's smaller and more compact, and you have someone taking care of you, watching over you, and helping you every step of the way. I definitely think that makes a big difference. I mean, I've seen it with the students this year, so I definitely think that that's something to take into consideration. Racheli, the program does accept credits that you have already, and it would make it the load lighter. This is more actually for academic, and Professor Engelberg is here, so I'll let him say something just about getting credits. But we accept credits from other places. I'm just going to let Professor Engelberg talk about that for a minute, and then if there are any other questions, I'll talk. So, Abba, do you want to say about just accepting credits from other universities?
Well, if you have taken courses that are parallel to the courses that we give, we have a special form for that. You simply fill out the form, you give us a copy of the syllabus of the course you took. You tell us which course you want it to count for, and of course we also need a transcript to be sure that you passed and did well on the course. And if you fulfill those requirements, then you will get credit for courses that you've already taken.
Right, and that definitely makes the load lighter because you take off one of your courses. I had girls this year who didn't take the math, so they ended up only having to take 3 courses this semester, which made it a lot easier for them, and they were able to study harder for those things that they felt were harder for them. So we definitely accept the credits. Like Professor Engelberg said, you would have to fill out a form, show us the syllabus, show us that you got over a 70 in the course, and then usually you're exempt from that course. You could go into the course if you kind of want to just go over it. You wouldn't have to take the exam, and you're totally exempt from that course. And we definitely have done that a lot already because we have a lot of girls who have come already with some credits. So that's definitely something you can do. I'm just trying to think what else is important to go over. The semester starts right after Sukkot. October 14th is the first day. It's a Wednesday. There's also, the orientation will probably be the day before. So again, for those of you who are coming from overseas and want to stay home for Sukkot and are only going to come after, and so you're going to have to be in quarantine. I know this is all very complicated, but don't worry, we'll have orientation over Zoom as well. So you'll be able to do what you need to do, and you'll be able to sign up to classes. And we're hoping that the classes will also be on Zoom so that you'll be able to see them until you're out of quarantine and be able to join the classes. So that's when it starts. The semester goes until January. You end your first semester in January, then you have a month of exams. Then you start the second semester. You have your break for Pesach. We usually try to give a little bit longer for our English-speaking students. They could fly home. For those who don't have family here and want to fly home, we do that. The semester then ends in June. You have your exams in July. And then you're done until after Sukkot again. We don't do the summer semester in our program. We kind of put it all in those 2 semesters. And like I said, you don't have to do it in 3 years. We've had some girls who, chose to do it in 4 years to make the load a little bit lighter for them and focus their first years on the math and then their next year more on the computers. So, everyone can make it for them. 1 second, Hela, do you have to take a specific number of courses? So we do give, again, I'll let Professor Engelberg also say something on this because he's the one who makes our whole program and schedule. So 1 second. Abba, you want to just talk about for a second about the course?
Okay, well, yeah, I sort of just wrote an answer to somebody about that. But basically, we give a series of courses. Usually it's about 20 to 25 hours of courses each semester. Now, you can do 2 things. You can do the courses that we propose, or you can decide to take fewer courses, but then of course it'll take you longer to finish your degree because the degree is 120 credits and you can spread it out over more than 3 years. If you want to finish in 3 years, then you should take the courses that we suggest for each semester. Also, of course, you can sometimes, even if you want to take a more advanced course, you could do that if it would work out, but you'd have to be sure you have the prerequisites for it. The courses that we suggest for each semester are courses that you're prepared for, and that will be the most smooth way to finish the degree. As far as I know, the majority of the students do take the courses that we suggest.
Yeah, no, they definitely do. So it's a little bit like, because some of you are used to American universities, and there you have 4 years and you kind of make your own schedule and, you slowly decide what you want to do. So in Israel, it's much more specific, and especially in computer science, there's not many courses that you kind of choose from. We kind of tell you, these are the courses you have to take. There are always a few courses that we change because those are more like elective. So we'll try to change them, make them more interesting, add to the core ones. But unlike America, where you kind of make your own schedule and only like in your 3rd year, you're like, oh, I really have to like buckle down and figure out what I'm doing. Here it's from the beginning. The course is really set out for you of what you have to do. And like when you log onto your account and make your schedule, you'll see like the courses are all outlined of which ones you should take. And we usually tell you to sign up for all of them. And then, obviously if you feel it's too hard, you can work on not taking one. Or if you feel like you want to take more, then you can always, speak to Professor Engelberg and see if you could fit in something else with the 2nd years or something. But our schedule is really set up in a certain way so that you get all your credits in those 3 years, and that it's not too much. And, and that there's a few that are more just interesting ones that aren't something that you need in order to graduate, but they give you the credits that you need and are kind of like more interesting. So Midrashah classes per semester, there's really, if you haven't done any seminary or anything, we require 18 credits for Midrashah, which means 18 hours across your 3 years, which usually means 6 credits a year, which is 3 credits a semester. So that would be 3 classes. But because, especially this year, most of our students did they did 2 years of seminary and did other things. We started off with only 2 because if you've done all that, we usually go down to like 10 credits, 12 credits. So we make it a little bit less. But a 2, meaning you wouldn't have less than 2 midrashah classes. It doesn't make your day longer. It just means that twice a week. We had this semester, I think was Monday, Tuesday. You started at 8:30, but you started first with your midrashah class. And then at 10:30, you started your academic class. They still finished at 1:15 or 1:30. So it didn't really make that much of a difference. The midrashah classes, this past year, each semester we tried to do 1 class of halakha and 1 of more, something a little bit more that the students asked for. So when we had like guest speakers come and talk about, Torah Umada, whatever they felt they wanted to speak about. And the next year was more, the girls were asking for Gemara, so we kind of did something that was a little bit more leaning towards that. Also with the midrashah classes, you don't really have exams. It's really more Torah Lishma. So they're gonna ask you to like maybe write a paper, like a short paper, or listen to a class and then write what you learned from the class or something like that. But it's more, meaning it's because, Machon and Machon Lev, we see ourselves as a religious place. The most important thing obviously is learning Torah. So we try to incorporate that into our academic learning, which obviously is important and you need to get your degree. We also feel like we can, incorporate some Torah learning. So it's really more, for your benefit. It's not something you have to worry about in terms of having a big exam at the end or things like that. And they're actually really nice, interesting classes. And like I said, you could always decide to take the courses in Hebrew if you feel your Hebrew is good enough or you just want to brush up on it. You definitely could choose to do that. I'm trying to think what else is something that people have asked me in the past. In terms of just so that you understand, Machon Lev and Machon Tal campuses, they're completely like not near each other, not, part of each other. We do usually keep it separate. But if anyone is interested, they do actually have a shadchan on campus. So there you go. In terms of anything else, I'm trying to think if there's any other questions you have or something that I missed or I forgot. Just to go over, because I know I also have this question. Everything is in English, meaning when the lecturer gives you things, everything is going to be translated into English. So even though they might have taught this in Hebrew, you don't have to worry. Everything is translated into English. Everything is given in English. You can ask questions in English. Everything that you need to do is in English. If you have an issue with, understanding the Hebrew, I'm always there to answer it. Any email that's sent to you from the Machon is sent to me as well, and I'll translate it for you. So in terms of that, you really don't have to worry. And also, like, students have asked me in the past, well, what if I decide I want to switch to the Israeli program? You are totally welcome to switch. Once you're in Machon Tal, if you decide that you want to be in the Hebrew program, or you can always choose to switch to the Hebrew program. Everyone's always happy to have you join them if if for whatever reason you feel that you want that. We also started, for those of you who want, there's actually Ulpan that we offer on Thursdays. That's why we try to finish early on Thursdays, usually 11:45. So that those of you who want to take Ulpan can join the Ulpan, which is for all our international students. We have students from all over. We have French students and students from Gibraltar and Brazil and I'm trying to remember, Germany and Chile. And so, everyone comes in on a different level, and we offer Ulpan. It does cost extra. We offer Ulpan on different levels for people who want to take it on Thursdays. Again, now, if things don't work out the way we want, and we aren't able to open the campus in October after Sukkot, then everything will be offered online. And if you decide to come either way, not knowing, and you're in the dorms will stay open, you'll be in the dorms. You'll be able to hopefully go on campus to use the labs as well. If you do come and it doesn't open, I would definitely introduce you to the students the year above you so you could at least get to know some people, and they can kind of help you along a little bit. I really, really am hoping that by October, this craziness will be a little bit less and we'll be able to do at least some classes on campus, if not all of them, especially because we're a smaller class. So we're hoping that maybe since they'll let a certain amount of students, maybe we will. But again, like I said, you never know. But so it's, it's all up to your choice, meaning if you guys decide, at the last minute, I want to wait until things are more calm and I'm happy to do it over Zoom, then, we're planning on offering it all on Zoom, especially for those who can't make it in or decided they couldn't come in then, or for being in quarantine or any other issue. We're really hoping that the entire first semester will also be live and also be in Zoom, and if not, just on Zoom. Yeah, I think that's kind of it in terms of just what I could tell you about the program. Also, we have really amazing lecturers, like really, really good professors who teach in the Israeli program, and they also teach in our program because, Baruch Hashem, there are a lot of people who have made Aliyah and are teaching, so our lectures are really, really good. And I think, unless anyone has any more questions, I think that's kind of all I can think about to talk about. I've spoken for more than half an hour straight. So it's kind of hard to keep your brain in what you were supposed to say, but I hope I covered everything that you guys wanted to know. Obviously, if there's anything else you need to know, you can always email me. I think you all have my email, but I'll put it up on the chat for you if you want. And you can email me with any questions, and anyone who has the visa questions, be in touch with me. I'll let you know about that. It's definitely a work in progress, but it's Baruch Hashem moving forward instead of being stagnant. And I did want to say that the Machon does offer tutoring for students, meaning if you're having an issue with understanding something and you need help, the Machon itself offers in-house tutoring at a really low cost, which our students have used multiple times this past year. So that's just another benefit that you get. You also can get other benefits if you need them in terms of extra time on your exams and things like that. You just have to come to me and tell me if you need any help in anything, and we'll help you move things along. Professor Engelberg and I are always here to help you and answer questions that you need. So I think that's kind of covered the basics of everything. I'll stay on for a couple more minutes. If anyone has a question, you're welcome to unmute yourself to ask it, or you're welcome to just put it in the chat. And I'm happy to answer it if I can. Otherwise, that's basically it. It was so nice meeting all of you. I hope we can meet in person soon. For those of you who do want to apply, you can start your process online. You go online to the JCT website, you go to the English speaking program, the international program, you start your process, then I can help you. The minute you start your process, I can help you along. They usually ask you to upload your high school transcripts, your SAT, or any other government exam you took. If you took any college courses, to upload those. We usually have an interview, which means I'll call you and we'll speak on WhatsApp just to go over everything. And then, they'll just check everything that you've sent in. And if it's all good, then, you get your acceptance letter. And I'm always there. I'm always there to help with the process. The minute you start, I'm always there to help as much as I can, get answers for you, push it along, whatever it is. Because our program only starts in October, you do have a little bit more time to apply. So like our application is open until the end of August because things start so much later, which is also really nice. And basically that's it. So you're welcome, Gabriella. So if any of you have any more questions, please write it or ask it. I'll be here for another minute or two, and then thanks for joining. I really hope that I get to speak to all of you, and you want to try to join. We'd be so happy to have you. And good luck with everything, and enjoy your summer. Thanks everyone. I'm going to put my email down here, that if you don't have it, pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Really, it was really nice being able to talk to you. I hope I didn't talk for too long. That's my email in case you didn't have it. And thank you, everyone. All right. Bye-bye.